Yo, welcome everyone to another edition of Mets Life. You already know when it comes to the Mets, it's for life. You already know I'm your host, Rompe. Um, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the New York Mets and the games from this weekend. There's so much to love about what we saw from this team as a collective group and this morning from the front office. Things that we've only dreamed of in years past as fans of the New York Mets. And the fact that we are here now, we are here today, this time, to talk about this team being the best team in the National League and maybe all of baseball is surely what dreams are made of. And we are here now, and I want everybody to take a second and just bask in that glory of being the best team in the National League right now. Pitching is on point. Defense is on point. Offense is on point. The bullpen, we're starting to figure out who goes where in what situations. So that's getting better towards the end of games. And one of the things that you gotta love is that even in the losses, maybe except for a few, right? The loss that we had against San Francisco, that was a loss. There was nothing we could do about that one. The loss in Arizona, that was a different example of a kind of loss that you hate but you can live with. And we have many of those losses that you can kind of live with because you know you had the opportunity to win, just something went wrong, and the other team just something went right for them in that moment. And that's not an indictment on us. That's just how it happens. So that loss against Arizona wasn't a good one. It does feel good to lose to Arizona, but we won the series, right? That's what matters. So a couple losses we've had like that. And like the one to Philly on Saturday, where in the eighth inning, Adam Ottavino comes in, and the last guy, one guy gets on, The other guy hits a 2-run home run. The Phillies got the lead and they win the ball game by the skin of their teeth. By the way, I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like the Phillies won that game, because they were the better team. Um, they just had someone who was able to put them up, and that's, hey, tip your cap, tip your cap, because there's nothing you can do about that. So we move on. We move on. We live. There's nothing to cry about. There's nothing to die about. Uh, but another thing that the team has done beautifully, beautifully, I might add, is how they have responded. Um, how they have responded to adversity this season. On the last day of the Cardinals series, where we had the opportunity to sweep that series, on that last day, the Mets got into a little kerfuffle. We talked about that. We talked about the drama of what happened in that last game against the Cardinals. And the way the team responded the next day is what I love about this team. Is what I love about who this team is as a collective group. Because they went out there the next night. They had a day off. Like I said, they had a day off. Uh, let the emotions flow over, regroup, turn the page, focus on the Phillies, and set the tone early in that series. And they did just that. How did they do that? Well, they went out there and they pitched a no-hitter. Complete masterpiece from Mets pitching. It took 5 pitchers to get it. But in this day and age, especially this time of the season where guys aren't going all the way, they're limited to pitch counts early on. Absolutely, though that's how it's gonna happen. And they got it done. Tyler McGill goes 5. You had Drew Smith, who is developing as a shut-down piece. The Drew Smith that we all thought we were getting coming from the Tampa deal and the Lucas Duda trade, that's the Drew Smith we are seeing now. Bless him, bless his health. He is pitching like someone who deserves to get the 8th inning. And we hope that continues. The confidence that Buck Showalter has instilled in this kid and the way he's pitching now is pure gold out of this New York Metropolitan team. There's nothing you can say about that is wrong. Absolutely nothing about that you can say is wrong. And you love it. You love it coming from the Mets. You love it coming from Buck Showalter and what he's instilling in the Mets. So you learn to appreciate that. You can learn to appreciate that. And hopefully that continues. On Saturday, the Mets lost. They lost that game. I believe it was 3-2. Off of the Adam Ottavino home run that he led up to the Mets killer. He led up a 2-run home run that gave them the lead, and they almost lost the lead. The Mets almost got that all the way back, but they didn't. They couldn't pull it off. They did apply pressure to the Phillies bullpen, which I love to see as well. So they did specific things to set up what we're supposed to set up, right? They did things to set up Saturday, Sunday. Sunday, Max goes out there, dominates the first five. Kyle Schwarber goes ahead and he hits a fastball. Tough pitch. But, Max missed over the middle, hits it, boom, puts a run on the board. Then the Mets come back. They get two. They drop two on Eflin. Schwarber comes back, hits a two-run home run off one leg. A changeup that he had to get. You got to tip your cap. The way he got it, went and got that. You got to tip your cap. There's nothing you can do about that. So he puts the Phillies up 3-2, and then the Mets just lay down the wood on Philadelphia, and they just absolutely bombard them, take them over, and the way they did it, working the pitch counts, getting the base hits, the way they were getting the hits, where they was hitting the ball, it showed Philadelphia's weakness. They exposed how to beat the Phillies, even when the Phillies are hitting home runs. Harper hit a home run as well, right? The Mets end up winning the ball game 10-6. And then in the last inning there was a whole mess with the same guy that hit Nolan Arenado. Now, it wasn't intentional, but the Phillies are gonna think it's intentional. Francisco Lindor gets hit. The Mets they're not taking it. They're not taking it from nobody. And I guess the kid comes in, throws in pitch one at the feet of Schwarber. Schwarber, kind of dusts him off the plate. Then he comes back with the next one, does the same thing, dusts him off the plate. So it's back and forth between the Mets and Phillies after that. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Phillies got upset because of that, and another guy gets hit. I think Alec Bohm got hit, drops his bat in frustration, goes to first. And some Phillies fans were upset. I listened to Broads, and he was talking about how he felt that Joe Girardi wasn't standing up for his team like the way Buck does for the Mets, right? Every time a guy gets hit, Buck is on the first step, kind of just giving that look like he's not happy. And Joe Girardi did the same thing in the Kyle Schwarber at bat, but he didn't say anything when Bohm got hit. And between the Mets and the Phillies is always going to be back and forth. So we'll see what happens in Philadelphia on Thursday when the Mets go in there. They play four against Philadelphia in Philly. They got 4 against the Braves this week starting tonight. We'll talk about the Braves in a minute. So they got 4 against the Braves, 1 tonight, doubleheader tomorrow afternoon, and then the last game on Wednesday before we go to Philadelphia for 4. And then from there, we go to Washington, and then I believe we come back home, and then we play. So we'll go over the schedule after that, but it has begun. The 14 games in 17 days against a National League East where the Mets have to, this isn't going to determine the season, because the Marlins are still playing very well. And, yesterday they were 2.5 games out, and that was getting a little bit nervous there. But, give it up to the Marlins. They got good pitching. They faced teams that they were able to beat. They took a series from Seattle. They took a series from, I think, Arizona. So they beat the teams they were, well, I'm not going to say they were supposed to beat because they're the Marlins at the end of the day, but they got better. And they beat them. So kudos to them. But the Marlins are the closest team to us right now, but we worry about them towards the end of May. So we don't worry about that right now. So it was a good series. The Mets have won 7 consecutive series in a row. Last time they did that was 1986, and we all know what happened that year. And I just believe in everything that I have, that the Mets are a different team. They're different. They're set up different. They're gonna be there from wire to wire. They're gonna be there. This is Steve Cohen is determined to never let what happened last season happen again. Over 100 days in first place, and they lose, and they end up in, I think, third or fourth. And I said it last year when it happened. I'm like, you know what? I hate it, don't like it, but the fact that it happened early rather than later, you can accept that because now he knows the worst and what you don't want to happen. So he went to work, got the best people, put them in place, and now the team is playing at an all-time high level. Now we've seen this from multiple teams and all across multiple different sports where a team, is maybe overachieving, they're doing okay, they're doing well, maybe just getting, just losing out the playoffs, by one or two games here or there, but they're playing very well, having a winning season here, having a winning season there, kind of like what the Mets are doing in 18, what they did in 20, things like that, right? What they did, no, not 18, what they did in 19, what they did in 20, things like that, kind of, So they, we've seen it like with Tampa. Tampa wasn't, before Tom Brady went to Tampa wasn't, they weren't a good team. They were decent, they were all right, but they weren't beating anybody, that they weren't going to go anywhere. They weren't going to win a championship. They weren't going to beat the best teams. And when Tom Brady just decided to go to Tampa, that changed. It changed everything for that organization. They became just they go from mid to being the best team in the last two seasons. One of the best teams in the last two seasons. Losing to the Rams in the division series. So in the divisional game, in the divisional game, they lost to the Rams, and in a close one, But you win a championship. The next year, you go go on a little playoff run. You become a contending team. You become a team that's gonna be great. Uh, Same thing with the Lakers, right? Just mid. LeBron joins the Lakers. The Lakers become a championship team. They get pieces, they add more pieces, and they win a championship. And I never believed that was going to be the way the Mets were going to form when Steve Cohen became the owner. I thought it was going to be a process. I thought it was going to take a little bit of time. Maybe year 3, they'll be at where they're at now. They'll be at the point where they're, considered one of the best in baseball. But it happened fairly quickly. Started with Lindor, signed to a massive $300 million deal. And then, they show that they're willing to compete. They added in the trade deadline when things were just going haywire. And they fought, but they messed up. Injuries and all that, whatnot. But when the off season started, they went straight to work, got themselves a GM, got themselves got themselves a GM. GM went to work, got him some players. Then he went to work again, got a manager that's gonna manage the team. And then when the lockout ended, added more to that. But before the lockout ended, they added pieces to the team that was very, very important. So they didn't just add any piece to the team. What they added was they added guys who get on base, find a way to get on base, and have a little bit of pop. In Mark Canha, Eduardo Escobar, and Sterling Marte. And then they went out there, got themselves the big fish, signed Max Scherzer. Bringing in Max Scherzer, that's it. That just signifies that's the Tom Brady move. That's the LeBron James move, where you bring in one of the best in the game and he changes the entire complexion of the team. Raises everybody's level of play. Everybody's starting to play better. Then you bring in a manager that is high profile, knows how to win, knows how to manage, raises the team morale even more. So now you adding all these pieces to the puzzle. Like, this is a winning team now. This is a winning team with a winning formula. You know, when the Dodgers added Mookie Betts, they became a better team. And they had good pieces, but that got them over the hump. Um, you know, so you add these guys, and we're doing it, right? And the fact that today they let go Robinson Cano shows you even more that they're willing to do whatever it takes to win, even if it means eating Cano's money and moving on. Like, that to me shows real, like they want it. Like they want it. You know what I'm saying? And I cannot ask anything different from my team than getting that kind of effort. Um, Anything different. I can't ask for anything different than getting that effort. Um, so that to me is very, very important. Um, the Braves. We taking on the Atlanta Braves today. And the Atlanta Braves are a team that they're not playing. They haven't been playing well. They haven't been playing well. I think right now they're behind Philadelphia in the standing. I don't know if they're ahead or behind. They're 10-13. Philly got 11 wins, I believe. So they faced us for 4 games, and then they go and they face the Brewers at home. So that's a 1-2 punch that can really knock the winds off your sail. But this is they've underachieved. And I've mentioned this about Philadelphia before. I've said this about them in the past before the season started. After they won the championship, I said, for the Philadelphia Phillies, this is a team that is punch drunk, and they are drunk off a championship. And how could I say it? The championship hangover is real. And we're starting to see that come to life here. So they go ahead and they face us. They face the Brewers. They get the Red Sox. Then they get the Padres. Then the Brewers again before they get the Marlins. This is going to be a really tough part of the schedule for the Braves early on in the season. They can get knocked back a couple. They could get knocked back to maybe almost double digits if they don't put up a winning effort against some of these teams. And they lost to Texas yesterday. So sitting there 10-13 on the season, that just is not. That just doesn't help them. That doesn't help them right now. I don't know how much it's gonna help them later on, but right now they are 6 games behind us. They're 3.5 wild card, so maybe they're alive for a wild card. But to be 6 games behind, and if they lose this series against us, they're going to be knocked a couple more games behind, and then they got Milwaukee, which is not a bad team. Milwaukee is up there as one of the best teams in the National League. And they got Miami in between that. So, and San Diego as well. So Atlanta's going to go up against some good teams here. Atlanta's going to go up against some good teams. And for the first time since 1986, the New York Yankees and the New York Mets are in first place in their respective leagues, the best records in their respective leagues. That's the first time that happened since 1986. And again, we all know what happened in 1986. Um, so the Yankees, they're entering a portion like the bats have woken up. Tonight they start a 3-game series against the Blue Jays. How that turns out all depends on them. But they have a 3-game set against the Blue Jays. They come home, they face the Rangers, and then the Blue Jays again before they go on the road, take on the White Sox and the Orioles. And then they come home and do the same thing. They face the White Sox and the Orioles. So this month of May is I can say schedule wise for the Yankees is one where I know if you're a Yankee fan, you'll be happy to whatever see. But I'm only mentioning that because it's the first time since 1986 both teams have been in first place. So the Mets let go Robinson Cano, and they show the fan base, not only the fan base, but the team that they are legit. They're serious about what they're trying to do for the betterment of the team. And that to me, it looms large when it comes to just showing not just us, but the league and the fan base that they are very, very serious when it comes to winning, because that's what they want to do. They want to win. So I got to give them credit for that, for wanting to win, for putting an effort to want to win. And there's not much wrong you can go with putting an effort and wanting to win. So you can only appreciate that in, in ways that, only other fans who have been a part of winning teams and seen how winning teams have performed for them in the past have experienced. And as Met fans, we haven't experienced this level of success since 2006 when we were the best team in the National League East. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot to the fan base, where they want to go, where they are, how good they want to be. So as far as we're concerned, we have to finish strong here. We got to finish strong. We got to, this like I said, this 14 games in 17 days playing the NL East is extremely, extremely, extremely important. And we got off to a good start. Took 2 or 3 in the first 3. Now we got, a very good opponent that's coming in hungry, opponent that's coming in wanting to prove that they're still good, that they're still championship caliber. And we got to go ahead and we got to show them that we are better than them. Show the league that we are better than them. And what better way to do it than to start tonight, beat them, get the W, and just show the league that we're legit. Show the league that this isn't a farce. This isn't this isn't fake. This is real news. This isn't fake news. This is real news. And we got that opportunity right now to show that. So I hope that everyone could appreciate that going forward. So we got the Braves. Like I mentioned, we got the Phillies in Philly for 4. We go to Washington for 3, come home, play Seattle. And then the St. Louis Cardinals series that everybody's going to be watching closely starts Monday the 16th. So in that, after we're done playing the NL East, we got the Mariners, the Cardinals, the Rockies, the Giants. Rockies and Giants on the road. So that's huge. That's huge. And then we got the Phillies, and then the Phillies and Nationals to end the month of May. Before June. And then we all know what happens in June. We all talked about it for a very, very long time. June is the part of the year that we need to survive. I'm saying this because I know it's true. If the Mets can come out of June with a winning record, they will be in good position to continue to be the best team in baseball. Because, again, they face the Dodgers, they face the Padres, they face the Angels on the road, come back home, face the Brewers, face the Marlins, face the Astros on the road, face the Marlins, and then the Astros at home. So, that's June. Tough teams. Astros is a top team in the good team. Um, Marlins they're playing good right now. Don't know how good they're gonna be at that point. The Brewers, the Angels, the Padres, the Dodgers, all good teams. So those are things that we gotta capitalize, gotta take advantage of. Because if we don't, then it's gonna be the same old story, just different year. And we don't want that. We don't want that same thing to happen. So we gotta, you know, put the pedal to the metal and just keep pressing on, pressing on, pressing on. Um, keep on pressing on, pressing on, pressing on. So we're gonna look up some stats for the Atlanta Braves to see who we need to focus on and where we need to, again, like I always say, limit the damage. We already know guys that have good batting average, good stats against the Mets, and we're talking about guys like Austin Riley, guys like Dansby Swanson, Ozzy Albies, Ronald Acuna is coming back. He's back. So those are guys that we gotta limit the damage. To start on his since his comeback, Ronald Acuna Jr. only has 2 hits. So I don't expect them to be, on a. And the Mets have done good against him. He's hit some key home runs against the Mets in the past, but he's a good player, so you expect that to happen. But as far as killing the Mets, I mean, you're looking at Austin Riley, you're looking at Ozzy Albies. Those guys have absolutely obliterated us before, and both of them lead their teams in home runs. So you look at a guy like Matt Olson, started the year hot. Now he's hitting 291. He was at the top of the league in batting average, but now he's hitting 291. The best batting average on the team is I can't count Travis Demerit, right? I think that's his name is Travis Demerit. But I know Travis d'Arnaud played 15 games for them. Is hitting 305. Has 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. So, he's been all right. But this Demerit guy, has a 1.152 OPS. So that's somebody we gotta just pay attention to. But if it's letting somebody beat you, leave it to them. Leave it to him. Leave it to Arcia. Leave it to, guys that it's like, all right, whatever, But you got to limit the damage. Limit the damage because that's important. Dansby Swanson hitting 221. Marcelo Zuna, who's beaten the Mets up before, hitting 256, has 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, though. He's more like he's like a Kyle Schwarber-ish with not a lot of hits, but he'll hit the key big home runs, hit the 2-run home run, 3-run home run to really hurt us. Ozzy Albies is the guy that he will get the 3-hit game, 4-hit game, 5-hit game he had against us last year, So, Dansby Swanson will have multiple hit games. He's capable of that. Albies is capable of that. These are the guys you got to limit. You got to limit them to just what they've been averaging, right? The average is 221. Ozzy Albies' average is 205, right? So if he hits 205 in the series, then you're doing well, right? Then you're doing well. Same thing with Duvall. If he's hitting 188 during this 4-game series, you're doing well or lower, right? Same thing with Acuna. If he's hitting 154, though it's only been 3 games, but if he's hitting 154 at the end of this series, you're doing well, right? So, only thing that's acceptable, Matt Olson hits 291. You wouldn't like that. That means he's getting multiple hits, but he's going to get hits. Guy knows how to hit the ball. So, his first time in this rivalry, in this whole thing. So, we'll see what happens. But those are the guys that we have to watch out for. The lineups, Nimmo, Canna, Lindor, Alonso, Escobar, J.D. Davis, Jeff McNeil. No. J.D. Davis, Marte, Jeff McNeil, and James McCann. That is the lineup for the Mets this evening. Again, like I've been mentioning, like I've been saying, limit the damage, win the series. Don't hang your heads. Don't get beat up too bad. Keep your head up high and keep playing ball. This is a very good team. Really good team that's going to get hits. So just keep on hitting, keep on chucking, doing what you do, and win. That's it. That's all we can hope for. That's all we can pray for. Because these are the new Mets. These are the Mets, man. And we just hope that this isn't an admiration. This is real. And I believe this is real. Like I always say, if we're going to overreact to the negative, then best believe we're going to overreact to the positive. So I'm overreacting to the positive. This is a very good team. And like I mentioned last week, I'm not looking at the NL East. I'm not looking at, when I look at the standings, when I look at how we're doing in the standings, I'm looking at who's the best team in all of baseball, not just the National League and not just the NL East. And to be in that position where you're looking at the league instead of looking at your division, that is where we want to be. Looking at the division, who's the best in baseball, and you roll with that. That's what you want to roll with. The city is going to come alive. The city is alive. The ballpark has been packed, multiple games. The fans have been out there this series really making noise, and you can appreciate that. And I think having that no-hitter on Friday really set the tone to, this is how we respond when something negative happens. You come back and you play a good game. So just keep rolling, keep playing ball, play fundamental, sound, high IQ baseball. That's all we can hope for. Win or lose, the outcome will deal with it. But fundamentally sound baseball, high IQ baseball, playing with the right mindset, and you already know. I'm Rompe, when it comes to the Mets, it's always, always, always for life.